Tom's wrinkled hands trembled as he gripped his seatbelt, his eyes fixed on the road ahead. His adopted son, Mike, had barely spoken during the drive, and Tom's heart sank with each passing mile. Was this really how it would end, abandoned in a nursing home after all these years? But as they turned onto a familiar street, Tom's confusion grew. The car stopped in front of a beautiful house, lovingly restored. Mike turned to his father, tears in his eyes, and whispered, "Welcome home, Dad." At that moment, Tom realized this wasn't an ending. It was a new beginning. Hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss these powerful, inspiring stories. And trust me, you won't want to miss the shocking twist at the end of this story. It'll leave you speechless. Drop a comment with where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. Tom's eyes scanned the passing scenery, his heart heavy with unspoken fears. The familiar streets of his neighborhood faded into unfamiliar territory, each mile deepening his anxiety. At 72, Tom had never imagined this day would come. He glanced at Mike, his adopted son of 30 years, who sat rigidly behind the wheel, eyes fixed on the road ahead. The silence in the car was deafening. Tom's mind raced, recalling the moment he had first laid eyes on Mike, a scrawny 7-year-old with haunted eyes and a hesitant smile. Despite being a bachelor in his 40s, Tom had felt an instant connection, driven by a desire to give this child a chance at a better life. As they passed a sign for the next town over, Tom's anxiety spiked. He had researched nursing homes in the area, a fact he had kept hidden from Mike. None of them were in this direction. The realization intensified his confusion. Tom's gnarled hands fidgeted in his lap, a physical reminder of years of hard work and sacrifice. His body bore the marks of his devotion, aching joints, chronic back pain, fingers permanently bent from repetitive labor. The emotional investment had been even greater, spanning sleepless nights during Mike's rebellious teenage years and the bittersweet pride of watching him grow. Now, as unfamiliar landscapes whizzed by, Tom felt a deep sense of regret. Had he somehow failed as a father? Was Mike ashamed of him, eager to be rid of the burden he had become? The weight of these thoughts pressed down on Tom, making it hard to breathe. Mike's continued silence only fueled Tom's spiraling thoughts. His son had always been talkative, filling car rides with animated stories and laughter. This uncharacteristic quiet felt ominous, as if Mike was steeling himself for an unpleasant task. As they turned onto a tree-lined street, Tom noticed Mike's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. His son's face was a mask of concentration, but Tom caught a glimpse of something else. Was it nervousness? Anticipation? The uncertainty gnawed at him, leaving him feeling more vulnerable than he had in years. The car began to slow, and Tom's heart rate quickened. They were pulling into a driveway, but not of any nursing home Tom recognized. Before them stood a beautiful house, clearly recently renovated. Tom's confusion reached its peak as Mike turned off the engine and turned to face him, tears glistening in his eyes. As the car idled in the driveway, a sudden jolt shook Tom from his reverie. The pothole they'd hit unleashed a torrent of memories, each one a stark reminder of the life he'd built with Mike. Tom's mind wandered through the years, touching on pivotal moments that had shaped their relationship. He recalled the pride and loneliness that washed over him the day Mike left for college, the house feeling impossibly empty. Tom had wandered into Mike's room that night, touching the faded posters and well-worn books, a nagging doubt whispering in his mind. Had he done enough? The challenges of single parenthood had been immense, often leaving him feeling overwhelmed and uncertain. He remembered the disapproving looks from other parents, the whispered comments about a bachelor raising a child alone. Those judgments had stung, fueling his own insecurities about his ability to be both mother and father to Mike. Tom glanced at Mike, noticing a change in his son's demeanor. The tense set of Mike's shoulders had softened, and there was a hint of a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. It reminded Tom of a conversation they'd had years ago, on Mike's 18th birthday, Mike had made a heartfelt promise, vowing to take care of Tom in his old age, to repay all the sacrifices Tom had made. At the time, Tom had dismissed it as youthful idealism, never truly believing it would come to pass. Now, as the car slowed down and turned into an unfamiliar neighborhood, Tom felt a flicker of something he couldn't quite name. Hope? Anticipation? He pushed the feeling aside, unwilling to let himself believe in childish fantasies. Whatever lay ahead, Tom steeled himself for the reality he had long expected, a life apart from the son he had given everything to raise. Tom's breath caught in his throat as Mike pulled into a driveway he didn't recognize. The house looming ahead seemed to hold secrets, but were they the kind that would shatter his world or rebuild it? As they came to a stop, Tom's eyes widened, taking in the sight before him. The house was beautiful, its freshly painted exterior gleaming in the afternoon sun. Clearly recently renovated, it boasted a wide, inviting porch and windows that seemed to sparkle with promise. Tom's confusion mounted as Mike helped him out of the car, his son's gentle touch at odds with the emotional turmoil churning inside him. Tom's gaze swept over the property, noticing details that seemed oddly familiar. The ramp leading up to the porch was subtle yet sturdy, perfect for his occasional use of a walker. The doorways appeared wider than standard, and he could see glimpses of handrails through the windows. Each feature seemed tailor-made for his needs, sending a jolt of realization through him. Mike's behavior shifted as they approached the house. His earlier tension melted away, replaced by a reverent excitement. He guided Tom with careful steps, his voice trembling slightly as he pointed out various features. "Look, Dad," he said, gesturing to the garden. "I remembered how much you love roses. And see that bench? It's positioned just right for the afternoon sun." As they neared the front door, Tom's heart raced. The pieces were falling into place, but he dared not hope. Mike's hand hesitated on the doorknob, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Dad," he began, his voice thick with emotion, "this isn't a nursing home. This is our new home. I had it designed just for you, for us." The world seemed to tilt on its axis as Tom processed Mike's words. He gripped the porch railing, steadying himself as the full impact of his son's gesture washed over him. Years of sacrifice and love had culminated in this moment, a testament to the unbreakable bond between them. Tom's mind reeled with the implications. A study he'd once read flashed through his memory, something about adult children modifying homes for elderly parents reporting increased emotional closeness. But this was beyond anything he could have imagined. Every detail, from the non-slip flooring to the single-level layout, spoke of Mike's deep understanding and care. As Mike opened the door, revealing a warm, inviting interior, Tom felt a profound shift in his world. The fear and uncertainty that had plagued him during the car ride evaporated, replaced by an overwhelming sense of love and gratitude. He realized that far from being abandoned, he was being elevated, honored in a way he never thought possible. Tom turned to Mike, his weathered hands reaching out to cup his son's face. Words failed him as he saw the depth of love and respect shining in Mike's eyes. At that moment, Tom understood that his years of sacrifice had not gone unnoticed or unappreciated. This house, this beautiful gesture, was Mike's way of saying thank you, of ensuring that Tom would spend his golden years surrounded by comfort, care, and most importantly, family. As Tom's fingers traced the walls of his new home, each touch revealed another thoughtful detail. His heart raced, overwhelmed by the magnitude of Mike's gesture. The smooth, textured paint felt cool beneath his fingertips, grounding him in this surreal moment. Mike gently guided his father through the house, his voice filled with a mix of pride and nervousness. "Dad, I designed this kitchen with extra-wide spaces between counters," he explained, gesturing to the open layout. "I remembered how you always said you wanted more room to move around while cooking." Tom's eyes welled with tears as he took in the carefully planned features. The lowered countertops and easy-to-reach cabinets spoke volumes about Mike's love and consideration. He struggled to reconcile his earlier fears of abandonment with this overwhelming display of devotion. In the living room, Tom's gaze fell upon a familiar sight. Mounted on the wall was the old wooden clock he had crafted for Mike's 10th birthday. The timepiece had long since stopped working, but its presence in this new home carried profound symbolism. It was a testament to their shared history, a bridge between past and present. Mike's voice softened as he described his plans for their future together. "I've arranged my work schedule so I can be here most days," he said, his eyes shining with determination. "And I've set up a home office, so I can always be nearby if you need anything." Tom's chest tightened with a mix of emotions: gratitude, love, and a tinge of guilt. He had spent decades worrying about being a burden, and now here was Mike, willingly taking on the role of caregiver. The roles had indeed reversed, but the love remained constant. As they completed the tour, ending in a sunlit bedroom clearly designed for Tom, Mike turned to his father with a questioning look. The anticipation hung heavy in the air as Tom processed the full extent of this life-changing surprise. Finally, Tom found his voice. "Mike," he began, his words choked with emotion, "I don't know how to express. All these years, I wondered if I had done enough for you, and now you've given me more than I ever could have imagined." Mike's eyes glistened as he replied, "Dad, everything I am, everything I have, it's because of you. This is my way of showing you how much your sacrifices meant to me." In that moment, the last of Tom's fears melted away. He pulled Mike into a tight embrace, their bond stronger than ever before. As father and son held each other, both realized that this house was more than just a building. It was a testament to the enduring power of love and family. As the days turned into weeks, Tom and Mike settled into a rhythm in their new home. The house, once just a beautiful structure, now pulsed with life and laughter. Tom rediscovered simple joys, tending to the rose garden, cooking meals in the spacious kitchen, and sharing stories on the porch as the sun dipped below the horizon. Mike's presence was a constant comfort, and his care was evident in every thoughtful gesture. He'd often catch Tom's eye across the room, a silent understanding passing between them. The roles had shifted, yet their bond remained unbreakable, perhaps even stronger than before. One evening, as they sat together in the warm glow of the living room, Tom's weathered hand found Mike's. His voice thick with emotion, Tom whispered, "I always hoped I'd given you enough. But this is beyond anything I could have imagined." Mike squeezed his father's hand, his eyes shining. "Dad, everything I am is because of you. Your sacrifices, your love, they shaped me. This is just my way of honoring that." In that moment, as father and son embraced, the weight of their shared history settled around them like a warm blanket. The room fell silent, save for the soft ticking of the grandfather clock and the gentle rustle of leaves outside the window. Their journey had come full circle, a testament to the enduring power of family bonds and the beauty of unconditional love. Thank you for watching this heartwarming story. If it moved you, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of these daily stories that matter. Don't just watch, be part of our community. Share where you're watching from in the comments, and we'll see you in the next story that inspires change.